What is going on, guys? Today we are here with the owner of I Am Lift, also head trainer at Roman Empire Gym. What's up, Marvin?
What's up, brother?
How we doing today,
I'm
man?
good,
How we
man.
doing today? Having a good day?
Having a great day. I got
Awesome,
my workout
awesome.
in at 6:30 this morning. That never happens, so I feel actually
You
excellent
know I'm
today.
not a morning person, bro, so I don't know how you guys do it.
I have to be. When money calls, you'll be.
No, I mean, I've been up that early,
Yeah.
just not working out, you know?
I don't, you know what? I honestly never get that opportunity, bro. But today I didn't have anybody till later in the morning, and I was like, man, I really, in a perfect world, I would be a 5 a.m. guy. I get up, I get it done, but I haven't gotten there yet. I'm working on getting there, but today was like my first step in that direction.
I tried doing the 5 a.m. thing, man, the workouts in the morning, but for some reason, bro, like I would wake up, work out, and then I would just have low energy for the rest of the day. Yeah, I'm just not a morning person at all.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'll operate better at nights anyways. You know? So it works out. It's all good.
I don't think I found mine yet. I think I'm so used to doing things a certain way. I'm at a point now where like, let me just switch it up a little bit. Let me see what happens. Maybe if I get up at 5 a.m., maybe I'm gonna have all this energy, or maybe I'm gonna crash out at a certain point of the day. But at least I'll know. Right now I have no idea.
Yeah, right now my schedule is just like whenever I wake up, and then I get to work.
Goals.
Yeah, that's everyone's goal. Marvin, what got you into fitness, man?
Man, fitness. Oh, I've been an athlete probably my entire life. I started playing football when I was like 8, and I did that for I think up until I was like 20 something.
You were actually in your local newspaper, as I've heard.
Leo told you.
Yes, my little brother told me.
Yeah, I was a pretty decent athlete. I really was. Not that I toot my own horn, but I was a good athlete, bro. I wish now in hindsight that I had put in maybe a little bit more effort on like outside of just banking on my talent. You know what I mean? Because I was good, but I wasn't like I didn't have like this like LeBron James talent where I could just not practice and not do all those things. But you don't know that when you're young sometimes. So you think this talent is gonna carry me for the rest of my life. I'm gonna end up in the NFL and do all the stuff.
Oh yeah.
It don't work like that.
Nah.
Like even if you are great, you still should be honing your skills and your craft and things like that. And so I just, but yeah, I was good. I ended up in the paper a few times. You know what I'm saying? I got a little accolades and whatnot. But once I got into college, man, like all that kind of went out the door. I was a frat guy, I partied. I did all that. Started working. The opposite, complete. Actually, I started working at the Cheesecake Factory too, which was complete opposite from like now I'm eating cheesecake and hamburgers and calamari and all the stuff. You know what I mean? But it started off. I just needed a summer job, and somehow I ended up 8 years later still working with Cheesecake Factory. Which
but you were a manager there.
Not initially. Initially, I was just a busser. I was just busting tables, bro. Like I needed a summer job, and I walked in the gym like, "What do you want to do?" I'm like, "What do you have?" And he was like, "Well, you can cook, or you can." I think it's like you can be a cook or you can be a busser. And I was like, "I don't know how to cook, so busting is just wiping tables and resetting it, right? Oh, easy money. I can do that. I'm gonna be here for the summer, and then I'll get out of here." 8 years later, I ended up in management, but it's cool how life works because if it wasn't for that opportunity, I don't make it to Texas.
Of course.
That's how I got to Texas. Cheesecake Factory moved me to Texas.
But I do feel like that happens to a lot of people, man.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes they go into a job thinking it's going to be temporary, and they do end up sticking in there, for a very, very long time.
And that could be, I think it's just one of those things that can be a great thing. In my case, I think it was a great thing to a certain degree.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying? Because at a certain point, if that's not something that you want to see mature, you want to see grow, then you will kind of start to spin your wheels in a certain place just out of the fear of doing anything differently.
Of course, you get comfortable.
You get comfortable, it's easy. Like I especially at that point, bro, I literally had done everything. I'd been a busser, I'd been a server, I'd been a bartender. So now when they asked me to be a manager, it's like I've done all the stuff, so I could easily like tell other people how to do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Which was, again, it's so crazy how like life works because now being the owner of my own business and having to, and obviously you understand this, having to see things from such a huge view. Like you don't get to, like you have to have a bird's eye view over the entire business. You have to see all aspects. When I was a busser, like I only had to care about this much of the business, like making sure that table was clean, making sure the forks was here and the knife was there and the salt and pepper, and then go do that to the next table. But every time they gave me a little bit more responsibility up until I ended up in management, now I'm having to see the whole thing and understand everybody's position and why. And so again, I have a huge appreciation for that because I don't know if not for that experience that eventually I create enough confidence to say, all right, I'm gonna go try to do the same thing to a certain degree but for myself.
And that's crazy because a lot of people go into jobs and they just half-ass it. They just go there for their paycheck. But there's so much that you can learn.
It really is,
from
bro.
any business,
Any
really.
industry.
And I think it's so important. Like if for some reason, let's say you're young, you're just staying at home, learning so many skills. When you're young and you have the time.
Especially the service industry, bro.
Yes.
Because like the service industry relates to any industry in the world. Because in a sense, we're all providing some variation of a service, really no matter what you do. You know what I mean? So being in that environment taught me so many different things, bro. It taught me how to talk to people of different cultures, different races, different, different mindsets, bro. It taught me it taught me the art of progression. Like I started off as a busser and ended up in management. So it taught me the concept of what hard work and what repetition can do for you. You know what I mean? So, and then again, it's just it's an opportunity to practice basic skills like being kind. Like, I mean, now, because part of that is the job, right? Every guest is, we weren't allowed to call the people that came in customers. We had to call them a guest, just so that we had the mindset that you treat somebody who's a guest very differently than you treat somebody who's just a customer. You get what I'm saying? So, so to that degree, again, like, so you have a different conversation. You greet them when they walk in. You roll out the red carpet. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not just coming here to have a meal. They're coming here to have an experience. You know what I mean? And so I took that, and I was like, okay, anybody who comes to this gym, you're not coming here to just get a workout. You're coming here to get an experience. You're coming here, you're a guest in this place that I operate in. You know what I mean? And I want to make sure that everything that happens during this experience, it's not just, okay, I did this machine, and then I left. Well, yeah, I did all those things, but I learned something new about myself. I learned something new about Marvin. I learned something that I can take and maybe share with my child or my spouse or my whoever. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot deeper than just how much weight you can push around or move or any of that. You know what I mean? But I don't know if I grasp that concept if I don't have that experience in that industry.
And how did you go from going from doing that to like, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and start my own business instead? What were some of those conversations that you had to have with yourself? Because leaving a job, especially if it's a good paying job, to like, I'm gonna do this. I don't even know if it's gonna work out or not.
Right.
What was that like?
It was tough, bro. Just in the sense that I'm not from here. Like, I'm not from Texas. I'm from Alabama. So like when I moved to Texas, I moved here with no family, with no friends, with nobody except the people that I worked with, and they were my staff and my my co-managers and stuff like that. But those were the only people that I knew. I didn't know anybody else. So when I did decide to do that, like, I remember talking to my mom about it, and she's a mom. She's gonna say what a mom says. She's like, "Are you crazy? Like, you don't even, you don't know anybody. It's not like if I get put out my apartment, my house, or whatever, there's no cousin's house to go to. There's no, there's no brother. There's no. You might have to go back to Alabama. I don't know. You know what I mean? But what started the wheels turning, which was, just a beautiful experience for me looking back at it, man. There was a guy I worked with that we actually worked together when I was in Alabama.
Okay.
He was a line cook, I was the busser at the time. And so years later, I get relocated to the Baybrook location to do management. And he is a kitchen manager there. You know what I mean? So he's somebody I knew from home or whatever. His name's Marcus. So Marcus, if you see this, I love you, brother. I haven't talked to you in a while, but I love you. Thank you for everything. But Marcus wasn't a guy that especially at that point in his life, not somebody you look at and think the gym. I honestly don't think Marcus had ever like worked out or anything like that. You know what I mean? And even myself, bro, I had just, remember I told you I had been an athlete like for most of my life, and went through that phase of college where I kind of got out of it, picked up some bad habits, bro. Like I was, you partying and drinking and doing that stuff all the time. You kind of let your body kind of go a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So, so when I got here, kind of some personal stuff went down in my life, bro, and I didn't know, like, I needed something to do, to be honest. Okay. I was just going to work and then coming home and just I didn't have anything really to do. I tried going out to bars and I tried like different restaurants and all that, but at a certain point I'm just spending a ton of money and nothing's really happening with my life. So I started having this conversation with myself, like, man, like, what can I do that's halfway productive, where I can meet people, what I'm saying, maybe meet a girl or some good guys or something. It's not gonna cost me a ton of money. And so I'm like, I guess I could go to the gym.
Yeah.
You know, gym don't usually cost that much. You ton of people always there. You know, and then most of those people are doing something, regardless of what you know, it's some level of productivity being
Of course.
that's taking place, right? So I started going to the gym, bro, just to kill time, to you know, before I had to go on my shift or whatever. And so I'm, you know, at a certain point, I started to get into it.
Okay.
And Marcus asked me about it one day or something. I don't remember that conversation we had, but anyway, he asked me about working out, and I was like, well, bro, I just, you know, I go over here to this LA Fitness, and I'm here at, you know, we would, that's the thing, we mostly worked the same shift, which was like the night shift. So I would have like up until like 4 p.m. to kind of kill time, you know what I mean? I was like, I go every morning at like 9, and you know, and I knew more about the gym than he did just because of like the fact that I played football. So, you know, so I was like, you know, just come with me, bro. And so it's funny because at this point I'm buying like, you know, Sydney and Panda's plan, and I think Ulysses had a plan. So I'd buy them. They'd be, you know, 20, 30 bucks for a little fitness plan. And so I was like, all right, let's just follow this. And we just did that, bro. We did that. And so in a sense, it's almost like I started to coach him and didn't even really recognize what was happening. I was just like, you know, all right, we're gonna do this. No, you know, I'm pushing him. No, bro, you can do more. You can do this. Hey, let's do some cardio. Like, let's all the stuff, right? And over the course of time, man, it's like, yes, my body's changing. And like at this point, like I've had this total mind shift personally because I came down here, was in a very low frequency state because of some of the stuff that I had been going on, and then you know I didn't know anything about food and all that. So I'm eating cheesecake food every day. You know what I'm saying? But then at a certain point, I have like this epiphany. I'm like, hey man, I'm a manager at the Cheesecake, so I work in a glorified big refrigerator. And so I was like, I don't have to eat crap every day. I could actually go in here and order healthy food every day for the same, and I'm getting it like for free. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I started to eat, you know, like grilled chicken and grilled salmon and kale salad, like, all this stuff. And I'm just like, dude, so I'm starting to like, and then like, you know, muscle memory kicks in because I've been an athlete, remember? So now I'm really like starting to feel myself. But the coolest part was I was watching Marcus, and Marcus was getting strong, bro. Marcus was getting strong. Marcus was getting lean. Marcus was like his attitude about himself, his attitude about he was married. I think he's still married. His attitude about his relationship was changing, bro. So his lingo is changing, and I'm just like seeing this person go like kind of one extreme to the next, and I'm like, man, that is crazy. This is the coolest. I've never like seen that happen like one-on-one. You know, you hear about transformations and people, you know, going from one state, but I've never like really seen that.
Yeah.
And so having that one-off experience with him, bro, and just seeing like how unbeknownst to either really one of us, we were really helping each other change our lives. You get what I'm saying? But just because I had a little bit more experience, I was kind of like the leader. I was the one that was like steering this ship and like, all right, we're gonna show up at this time, we're gonna do these things and whatnot. And he was just like, okay, I'll do it. And he was doing it, and then I saw what was happening, and I'm like, this is incredible.
And that was the start.
It was like the epiphany. That was like my moment where like the bulb went off because I had been at Cheesecake Factory, bro, and again, super thankful for that place and that environment because I could have went really kind of wherever with it. Like I was well respected by my peers. You know, like everybody kind of knew Marvin and the energy I would come to work with. That's one thing. Like who I am is pretty much always been the same. So I was very enthusiastic. I'm the high five and fist bumping. We're about to have a great shift. Let's do it. So I had an opportunity to have a long trajectory with that, but personally, I just wasn't fulfilled. I was like, there's something more that I'm supposed to do. There's something deeper that I'm supposed to do. But I had no idea what it was. I had that feeling that something's missing. And for me, that was kind of like that moment where like the light bulb went off and I was like, I know what I'm supposed to do now.
Okay.
I'm supposed like, and that's the cool part when I was going to talk about earlier. I was like, it was ironic or, you know, whatever that I had been in service for so long and had embraced service and enjoyed service because all I was doing was taking the same skill set, but now I was going to do it for myself in an environment that I had just like loved being in. I loved being in the gym. I loved that experience of seeing people go from I can't to I can, like, you know what I mean? And at that point I was just like, all right, now what do I do? Like I got the idea.
Part, right?
Yeah.
What did you do? How did you go from? Were you still working there and doing personal training on the side, or?
Yeah, it's kind of cool, man. Like I feel like God does. He's creative in how everything happens, right? So like I started having this moment, and so a buddy of mine at the time he asked me had I ever boxed before, and I was like, No, like, I play where I'm from, bro. You play football, you play basketball. Pretty much like that's kind of it, Other sports are just stuff you see on TV. You know what I mean? So he's like, "You ever box?" And I was like, "No, I'm not really into boxing." He was like, "Well, how about you buy some gloves and I'll like show you some stuff. You know what I'm saying? You might like it, right?" And it's like I ain't, and he's a friend. I'm gaining friends. I'm like, whatever. So I went and bought a pair of gloves, bro. We're at LA Fitness, and I'm over there like, doing doing all this stuff. I think it was maybe a few weeks later, bro. I was single at the time, and a buddy of mine was trying to play like matchmaker. Kind of hooked me up with his girlfriend's friend, right? So me and the girl are hanging out. We go on a couple dates and stuff like that. And so at a certain point, she's like, "Hey, I know a lady who is opening a kickboxing studio on the side of town that you live on, or out in League City or whatever." And so I'm like, so at this point, it's like, wait a minute, I just kind of started this boxing thing, and now you about to add kicking to it. I was like, whatever. She's like, well, I'm just gonna give you her information. If you're interested, they're gonna be over there, whatever. So more out of courtesy, because I feel like she had already told the lady about me, I feel obligated to like hit her up or reach out. So I hit her up, I'm like, "Hey, I'm Marvin, this girl gave me information, whatever. She's like, "Hey, well, we're having like a mock class on whatever day. One of the instructors is gonna fly down and teach our instructors how to teach the classes, how to run them, all the stuff. We would love for you to just come by. We need other people to participate as well. So, just come by and it's free, it's nothing, whatever." So it's like, all right, whatever. So I go, and again, bro, like just the athletic aspect of me just kind of showing itself. Like my form is, I'm sure, awful, god awful. You know what I'm saying? But I'm in there like going hard and jumping and all the stuff, right? So at the end of the mock thing, they're like, "Would you like to be an instructor here?" And I'm like, I've never taught group classes, and I really honestly just got a pair of gloves like a month ago. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm the guy for this. And she was like, "No, you should do this." She's like, "We'll teach you, we'll train you, we'll help you out, but we would really like you to come up on our, be a part of our team." And so I was like, well, at the time I'm still a manager at Cheesecake Factory. I'm like, well, I can't do it obviously full time, but I was like, I can teach a class or two a week, if you guys were willing to work around my work skills. And they're like, yeah, of course. And again, one of the best things that could have happened to me for a couple different reasons. Number one, it taught me a brand new skill set that I still use to this day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That I had never fathomed that's something I would get into or even be instructing one day.
Yeah.
And then what it also did, it exposed me because it was a group concept. And so there's like 40 bags in there. At any given time, I have the opportunity to express my personality, my skill sets, my belief, my standards to 40 people. They kind of gave us free reign to kind of, obviously with teach the class, teach a boxing class and do all the stuff, but like how you structure it, the music you use, the words you say, all of that was kind of like left up to us, like go for it, you know what I mean? So it was just this great opportunity for me to just communicate what hadn't even developed it as my message. It was just who I was and what I believed in and what was important to me. And so it was really that kind of just like now, as I'm on the back end, just trying to save every single dollar that I make in Cheesecake Factory. It's kind of, like paying my bills and all of that, and anything that was in egg that I had left, I would save it. Because I was just trying to build up a nest egg so that when I was finally ready to like rip the Band-Aid off and just say, all right, I'm gonna go over here and do this full time, I just didn't know, like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm thinking, well, the best thing to do is at least have a nest egg. So if something goes left, you don't get clients or whatever, then you have something to fall back on while you're figuring it out. And I did that until I got to a point that I felt comfortable. And then one day just went in and told my managers, hey, I'm not coming back, you know what I mean? And I never forget the look on their face, because like, bro, like, again, this is, I had to even remind myself of this sometimes. This was nothing I had to do, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was doing well there, bro, and I could have, they were putting me in position to just keep moving up and keep doing all those things. But it just didn't. I knew that there was something more that I needed to do. And that's just kind of where it started, bro. So from there, I had the opportunity to start like, soliciting myself. Hey, I also do personal training. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I started working at this gym in Houston. I don't know if you remember Muscleheads.
Yeah.
That's where I started. Old warehouse with rusted equipment, hot as all get out, and I was in love, bro. I thought it was the best place in the world. And I just started there, bro. So, and I was doing that. I was working at the Cheesecake Factory, and then I knew this guy who was trying to build an app. So I would go work at his app company part-time, like a few times a week, bro. So I just was hustling my
How many
butt
hours
off.
were you working a week back then? Between everything?
All of them. Like, I don't, like, you know what I'm saying? Just, I would go from the app, I'll go to the app place in the morning, bro, and I go teach classes at CKL, and I go train people in the evening, and then, I mean, like,
But the
he
whole
had me
goal
off
was
that.
just to put money aside so you can go
The
ahead
whole
and
goal
do
was
the
just to
personal
just,
training.
yeah, the whole goal was just, number one, to just keep building up a name for myself, you know what I'm saying, just as a trainer in the industry, learn the industry, because like, I don't know anything. Like, I don't know, I'm having to get certifications, I'm having to figure out like the whole contracting aspect, because I knew I didn't want to do it. I knew I didn't want to be like LA Fitness, I didn't want to be like a commercial gym trainer. You know what I'm saying? I knew I always wanted to do it for myself. I wanted to create my own, and it was honestly, I wanted to create a brand. Of wellness, of health, of fitness, you know what I'm saying? So, like, as I'm doing all this, so much learning that I'm having to do at the same time, because I just don't know anything, you know what I mean? And so there was a lot of hours just of putting in just enough reps and whether they were good reps or not, I was just like, you know what, they can't be worse than just not doing something, you know what I mean? And so, and that's just like, at that point, the ball just started to roll. You know, you get one client, then you get two clients, then you get three, and then, you're building up a name, and then social media helps, you can post videos and do all the stuff, as far as learning, and which was crazy because I was so like, I just wanted to be a trainer. I just wanted to help people get healthy and do the thing and all of that. And I'm sure you know that even better than I do. At a certain point, you realize like the actual thing is like the easiest part at a certain point. Like, it became that training was the easy part. I had no idea about marketing and sales and like retention and attrition and all of that. None of that like even crossed my mind initially, because I just didn't know how important it had to be until now, when you're trying to like really like grow and really scale and really like have a real imprint on whatever, the industry that you're in. You gotta be a great marketer, like, whether you want to or not. You know what I'm saying? I was real resistant to stuff like that, because I was like, I didn't do this to be a marketer. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to be a trainer. But it's like, bro, nobody cares. Like, if you really want a certain level of growth, you gotta do different things. Like, if you do the same thing that everybody else is doing, then you also can't complain about getting the same results. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and that's something even to this day that I'm still like, okay, there's still levels. There's still like things that I want to see happen with myself and my brand and my business. So it's like, all right, be okay with, putting in the right reps. You know what I'm saying? Because I think at that point, the only repetition I knew was just to be available a lot at the gym, train as many people as I can all day, teach as many classes, jump, give them all the energy in the world, which is great. But I'm also wearing myself out. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a smarter way to go about it,
Yeah, but I feel like most people usually start, they're on that same boat whenever they first start.
Right.
They're trading a lot of their time for very little money.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then it's great for the customer and everything, but you can't grow like that.
You can't grow like that. You can't even like sustain yourself like that. You know what I'm saying? Because you'll burn out. You know what I'm saying? And it's easy to think that you'll never burn out when you're young, because you're young. There's energy, and you just so excited about the thing. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's how it was when I first started too. My gym, the first gym, I started selling $35 memberships, because I was just trying to get as many people in there as I possibly could. But then I started realizing that I was running out of room, and the money that was coming in wasn't enough, even though we had a lot of members, hundreds of members. So we decided to increase prices. Obviously, some people weren't okay with it, but a lot of them were. And we started getting less signups, but we ended up making more money. So I feel like sometimes when you're starting, you forget that you're a business and the goal is to make money, right? Yeah. And while you're doing it, obviously provide a good service, but it's hard to provide a good service when there's not enough money coming in.
Yeah, exactly. So especially when you're that fatigued, man. When you're putting in that type of volume, your heart's in the right place. But you just said it perfectly. It's like I was operating from literally just trying to be a trainer, and there's a big difference between being a trainer and being a business owner. A huge difference.
Yeah, two different things.
Two different, and I just had no awareness of it
And that's, I think that's crazy. That's actually when, because a lot of people say like I'm passionate about this. Just because you're passionate about something doesn't mean that you're the right person to start that. Because a lot of people they're just not business people.
They're not.
No, and I feel like there's a lot of people doing things, but they're not really seeing a lot of growth just because they're the people that are kind of like in the way of letting the business kind of like do its thing.
That's a good point, bro. I had to learn that too, just from the aspect of, like. Communicating a message, you know what I'm saying? Like, what point are you trying to get across? Who are you talking to? You know what I mean? Because I see that a lot just in a lot of industries. People will be in a certain industry, but like the main focal point of the industry usually is them. And it was like, that doesn't, if I'm your consumer, like, to a certain point, yes, I'm buying you and your expertise and whatnot, but I shouldn't always be seeing you doing the thing. You know what I'm saying? I should see the impact that what you're doing and what you can provide, what it does for other people. Yep. You know what I mean? Like somebody who, whatever I'm looking for, if I'm that person, I want to see somebody that I can relate to in the sense that you've helped them, and then they saw the result. They had that moment for them. You know what I mean? Because especially with social media and stuff like that, I think it has kind of fooled some of us to a certain degree, where it's like, well, let me just show you how awesome I am over and over and over and over again, and just waiting for that people to eventually like catch up and be like, oh yeah, you are that awesome, let me come in and buy your thing. And it's like, no, like they'll recognize that you're awesome, but they might think just because you're so awesome that whatever you're doing that they can't equate to it, that they'll never amount to. And like, so
well, the thing is with things like that, I feel like everybody's a personal trainer nowadays. Everybody has like some form of educational business platform online, and I feel like it might work at the beginning because you might get some people in there, that are paying you something, but those people will leave, man.
They'll leave.
Really
they will.
fast.
They will. Yes. They will, bro. Like the seasons will change, the tide will change, you'll change prices, and they'll do, that may get them out. They'll see the result, and they may like let move, like So you're right, bro. Like I'm learning that you have to position yourself as something outside of a commodity, because if you're a commodity, if you're just one of many, then most of the time, especially from a consumer standpoint, how they pick is generally just based off price. Yeah, they 100%. Stop right there. They don't ask any other questions. Oh, y'all do the same thing? Okay, cool. Who costs the least? Him? He could be the worst whatever in the world, but they won't figure that out till later, because at that moment, because it's all the same thing, then I'm just gonna go obviously there. You know what I'm saying? So I was reading this book, and this guy, he put it, I think one of the best ways I've heard it. He was like, you can be a general doctor or you can be a heart surgeon, right? So if you have a heart problem, who are you going to go to? You're only going to go to the heart surgeon. You would never go to a general doctor, because general doctors, you could clip a toenail and then you could go to, the general doctor, and he's going to do the same thing. He's just going to put a doc near me and then find the one that's closest to him. Where the heart surgeon, you're going to go specifically look him out because he's the expert, because he's good at what he does. And the best part about him, he can charge more, and he probably won't have to see as many people, because he's positioned himself as the expert in his field, that he does this thing greater than anybody else. And I was like, that's really the goal. Like the goal is to just not be. I don't want to be a commodity. You know what I mean? Try to find like to.
I think price point definitely makes you a commodity, man. I really do. I feel like whenever you're cheap, just like everybody else, and you just kind of like blend in. But I don't know, where you're like, oh, $1,000, a month. Right. And it gets people curious. Like, why is this individual so much?
Right.
Why is he charging 10 times more than this other guy?
Exactly.
And I think that that's honestly what sets you apart. As long as you can deliver on your end,
you have to deliver, right?
You want to provide a good service. You just don't want to charge people $1,000.
Right.
But I feel like personal training, the personal training world right now, that's all it is, man. Even the online training, who charges the least.
Exactly, bro.
And you kind of like get blended in with everybody else.
Yeah, you get into the mixing pot that, again, I can't speak for other people, but I know I don't want to be in.
Yeah. I remember I was doing personal training a couple of years ago at my old gym, and I was expensive, man. I was the most expensive trainer at my gym, and I was making over $15,000 a month, man, off of 18, 19 clients, because I was charging a lot. But I was able to focus more on those individuals than if I was to have double the amount of clients making the same money.
Exactly.
So I do feel like you do have to charge more just to be, not even to like be competitive or anything like that, just
Right.
so you can actually dedicate your time to these individuals like they deserve, you know?
Exactly, bro.
Instead of just giving out like a watered down product.
I'm so busy. I gotta.
Yes, you don't want to do that.
Yeah,
Man.
you don't want to do that, man.
No.
Especially like.
And there's people out there that are willing to pay,
They are, bro.
a lot of money for actual results, you know.
The way I look at it, bro, you got like 3 different types of people in the world. You got people that, regardless of what the price is, they always only want the lowest cost, just because maybe that's how they grew up, or maybe that's, I don't know, how they perceive value. Then you have another group that always just want the most high end thing. They're gonna go buy the most expensive whatever just because a status thing. Like I bought this $1,000 shirt, whatever. You know what I mean? But then you got kind of like the majority, which lives in this space of like, as long as I can understand the value behind what it is that I'm getting, like I'm willing to spend it, but it has to be valuable enough for whatever that is. You know what I mean? Like, and that's where I try to exist at, bro. Like, it's like, regardless of in any industry, what I decide to do, whether it's training, whether it's anything, I want the value to always be able to point where you can look at the price and be like, oh, that's it. And you can do that at any number in any industry, as long as you've done on the back end side and just said, all right, I'm gonna make sure that whatever that price is, then again, that person has that type of reaction to it, where it's like, well, man, if all this is included, and this is gonna be my result, then yeah, I don't care. I'll play.
But you're still going to be running into people like that, regardless of the
You are,
price point, man.
you are, but they kind of, but at that point, they'll start to weed themselves out, or I can weed
100%.
them out. You know
I think
what I
that's
mean?
that's one of the sad things that's going on, like in the gym world. You'll have gyms that they'll drop their memberships lower just to bring in more people. I kind of like stopped caring about that.
Yeah.
I'm one of the most expensive gyms in this whole area, you know, and we get members every single day.
Right. That's
New
my thing.
members,
Yeah,
you
and
know.
I love that about you. But and I've just, as somebody who's had the opportunity to watch your growth, one thing you always done was try to provide as much value as possible. You're always very present. You always are being innovative and trying to, like, whether they work or not, you're gonna, like, one thing I love about you, you're gonna try it. You're gonna try it. You're gonna try the new thing. You're gonna try to add more value, whether that's equipment, whether that's AC, whether that's new turf, whether that's how things need to be arranged in the gym to give us the most maximal experience of how to use this space. Like, somebody who is constantly trying to make things better for me, of course, I would rather that than, I may pay less here. I never see the owner. The equipment is all sideways, and plates and stuff are left over, and towels and stuff all over.
But those are kind of like the cheaper options.
They generally are.
You know,
They generally are.
That's really what happens whenever you kind of like run your prices to the ground like that. Whenever you try to focus on volume so much, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, but the reason why I'm able to do all those things is because of my current price point, you know, because it's very high. But a lot of people see the value in that, and
1000%.
for that, you know, we just have to constantly keep adding new
Keep
things.
adding value.
Yes,
Yeah,
keep adding value all the time.
And it keeps. Yeah, I think the good thing about that it is, if you settle, then like subconsciously you settle in your mind too. You get what I'm saying? So you stop thinking of how I need to add more value, because, you know, when you just like set the price point and you're just trying to create volume, and then that's it, then maybe you are, I don't know, maybe at a certain point you're like, all right, well, I'm getting all the volume, so, you know, I must be doing a good job. Whereas to, like, if I raise that price and then I'm in a, not that you're having to prove anything, but just I feel like, okay, because I'm charging this, because it is what it is, then I do need to constantly be in a state of how can it be better. And I think that's beautiful. I think that is kind of like the spirit of the entrepreneur, spirit of the business owner, is like to continue to be in a state of creativity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's dope. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, you're right about that. And you, whenever you first started fully personal training, what was that like? You have already quit your job. You're no longer working in there. You're like waking up. You're like, all right, I'm going to the gym to work.
Bro, I still love it, but it was just for me like I don't know, kind of like, man, I can't believe that I'm doing this. You know what I'm saying? It took me a while to kind of like step into the reality that this was my reality. You know what I mean? Because you'll do something for so long and be in a certain space for so long, whether people want to admit it or not, quietly in the back of your mind, you just like, man, this may be it for me. Like I feel like this may be what I do for the rest of my life. You know what I mean?
Did your relationship with the gym ever change? Like you're like, you were there so much that you just didn't feel like working out.
Not really, bro, because I love people.
Okay.
I have a genuine like. I think that's what makes it not easy, but that's what makes it worth it. Is because as long as somebody there is in a space where they are trusting my thoughts and my attitude and my agenda to make them better, I don't like. That's nothing I don't play with that. I think I was having a conversation with somebody before, and I was like, I don't have kids, but I feel like whenever I do, I think I'm gonna be a great like.
That you know of, though, right?
Not I know.
Yeah, of course.
That was that time, and no. But I just feel like, man, I look at it like almost like a child. Like when you have a child, that's the beauty of children, man. They are this empty slate to a certain degree as they're growing, and you get to provide them with a concept of normalcy. You get to provide them with things that they will carry and believe for the rest of their lives. You know what I'm saying? Now, granted, when people come to me, they're generally aren't children, so a lot of it is with them. It's not necessarily teaching them things; it's helping them unlearn things.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like I need to take some of the stuff that you've been taught and that you have accepted as normal, that you accepted as real, and like take all that away and say, hey, we're gonna re-look at the way you look at things. But to me, that is such a big responsibility, because if somebody's giving you, especially like when you come in the gym, especially when you come in the gym asking for help, you're generally coming in some state of vulnerability. You know what I mean? You're coming in saying, hey, I don't know. I don't know how, I don't know where to start, I don't know what to do. Yeah. So for me to take that person in that state and not take serious like that state that they're presenting themselves to me in, is a disservice. I would be doing them a huge disservice. You get what I'm saying? And I'm aware enough of that to know that I just wouldn't want to do nobody like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just like if somebody's showing up and they believe that the way that I see things, the beliefs that I have, that they want to take those and inherit those and make it a part of their life. No, that's what gets me going. That's what keeps me coming in. That's what drives me, because it's like I want to make sure then. Same thing kind of about adding value. Then I'm going to continuously be adding value, not just making sure that I'm in shape, that's a part of it, but making sure that, the information that I take in, the books that I read, the shows that I watch, the beliefs that I have are something that's rooted in something that's powerful and that's strong and that means something, because I'm going to eventually disseminate this to this person. Like I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to well, I read this or I heard this or whatever. And I've seen it on the opposite end, bro. I've seen trainers who will come in and some of the conversations that they're having with their clients, I'm like, why are you talking to that person about that? Like, why would you say that? You know what I mean? Because it's not just, do this machine and do that. That's a small ink of it, you know what I'm saying? But getting into that person's mind and getting into that vulnerability, and then not just trying to help them meet their goals, but help them change their standards. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like a goal. You'll have a goal today, you may hit it, and then you'll go back to I want to lose 5 pounds, and then you lose the 5 pounds, and then you gain it back. 10. Yeah, you gain 10 back, you know what I mean? So it's like, I'm not knocking goals, you know what I'm saying? But if there was a standard that had been changed, you get what I'm saying? Yeah. Then a standard doesn't allow you to keep moving backwards, you know what I'm saying? If the standard's gonna say, all right, this is my standard, this is what it is, then I'm gonna constantly. I couldn't lose 5 pounds and gain it back, because my standard just will not allow it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, I still enjoy it, bro. I still love it, and now I'm just in a state now I just want to do things to just add more value. You know what I'm saying? To me, to my family. You know what I'm saying? To my customers. To my the people that trust me. Because I feel like if I'm getting better, then everything around me gets better. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Do you see yourself eventually having your own facility, a big I Am Live facility?
I've already manifested it, you know what I'm saying, and in the sense of that, yes, because I want to, just like you, bro, I want to create something that has my thumbprint on it, just because there is you are somebody I admire, just because I understand you also by being in your gym. You know what I'm saying? That makes sense. Like I feel like I can relate to you more because I see you created this thing that allows all of us that come in it to kind of see how your brain works, to see how you operate, to see what's important to you, to see the values you have, to see how big you dream. To, you know what I'm saying? Which is encouraging to somebody who is willing to see that because it's like, man, that's dope. I want to also create something to show people, let them see different aspects of what's important to me, and then how would I take that thing that's important and make it into a physical manifestation that they can experience. So
For sure,
yeah,
no,
absolutely.
It really is a good feeling, man.
Yeah, I bet.
Not just from like the member standpoint, like having all the members in here
Right.
and everybody gets to meet each other. A lot of
Yes,
relationships
bro.
get built here.
Yes.
It's like the people that actually do come to work here as well. You know, like yourself. You know, everybody used something I built to kind of like build your own thing.
Yes,
And,
yeah.
you know, it kind of supports you and
Right.
it supports a lot of people. And then
It's a domino effect.
yeah, the people that we have working actually here, like employees and all
Right.
that stuff. You know,
Right.
we've managed to just become like this huge. I don't even know what to call it, man. Like
It's a family, bro. But
yeah,
yeah,
this huge family, and
Yeah.
everybody benefits from it.
Everybody
you know, and it's
benefits.
pretty
Like
cool.
this is what the nature of a family should be like. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? In the sense that we all are diverse, and you know, like what we may desire or what we may end up doing, but we're using this platform, this space that you've given us.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like you said, to cultivate all these different aspects of relationships, whether they be client to you know, to a trainer, or whether they be employee to manager, or whether they be employee to employee, or whether they be just that guy in the gym that I talk to every day. I may not know his name ever.
Oh, that
but-
Jonathan guy, Jonathan Day guy.
Yeah,
He's a
I
weird
think
kid, man.
you done got a fist bump every morning. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's cool though, because it's like, you know what? I may not ever learn that guy's name, but he's always in a good mood. We're always gonna fist bump. You know what I'm saying? He's an extended part of my family. You know what I'm saying? And then it's the people that you don't know that they're around you around so much. You see them transforming. You see them changing. You're like, man, 6 months ago you didn't look like you do today, man. That's awesome. Congratulations. I don't know
Yeah.
what you've been doing, but keep going. Like I love even those exchanges because it's like I don't know if nobody's told that person that.
Yeah.
Maybe everybody has, but I'm gonna be one more person to add to that list. And then if nobody has, then I'm thankful that I recognize it enough because maybe they just been working so hard and nobody's told them how hard they've been working.
Yeah.
But I took the 2 seconds to say, hey man, you're doing phenomenal. Keep going. That may have made their day, you know what I'm saying? That may make them go for another 6 months, you know what
sure.
I'm saying? So I just love that, bro. There's so many different kind of interwoven like relationships and things that are taking place that I think is beautiful that we get to, you know, that if you don't even aware of it, you overlook it sometimes, man. But it's like, I'm grateful for those things, man. Like,
Yeah.
I'm grateful that I can have those different exchanges with people and they have them with me too, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's super cool, bro.
Yeah, I think honestly that's why I want to do more locations. You know, I want to reach more people. I love meeting new people, and I like it whenever they come in here and they get to enjoy something that I've built. You know,
Yeah.
I want more.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
know.
I want to
I
open
know.
up more all over the place,
I
man.
know, and you will, and I'm excited to see you do it because you will, and it'll just, and what you're even doing too, bro. Like you're giving people like myself. Number one, you're giving us the belief that it can happen. Like I've seen this guy from that, you know, that first location
Yeah.
to. And it's funny, I remember when I first started going to that first location, I was only going there because at that point I had been training pretty consistently at that point.
Yeah.
And I just felt like I could never get a good workout inside that gym because now I know everybody and I'm like, so I just wanted to go somewhere where I could just be a meathead. I just wanted to go in and just throw around weight without people bothering me. And so I don't even know how, I mean, it's kind of in the same vicinity. Obviously somebody else probably went there or whatever. And so they, you know, come to Roman, man, you know, whatever. And it was that warehouse style, kind of grungy, kind of high.
When you first came in, I was like, what's this guy doing here?
You know what? Like I heard you with
were
an
the enemy,
owner.
man.
Yeah. Was I really?
Yeah, bro.
I might have been though.
Like,
I
this
guess
guy's probably just here to gather intel.
That's
you know,
probably,
I'm just
yeah.
gonna go
I
back
guess-
home,
Yeah.
tell everybody what I'm doing, put me
Yeah.
out of business.
Yeah. I can see that though. Cause I didn't like, I knew you were the owner, but we didn't really, it's so crazy how life happens, right? Cause I didn't really like talk to you. I just knew of you and like, you know, that's the owner. I'm like, why would I care? Like,
Yeah.
I come here to work out. I don't care who the owner is or any of that. You know what I'm saying?
No, that was back in the days when like the gym industry was like petty.
Yeah.
And weird. You know?
I can believe that. Though, now that you say that, like I can see how he could think that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, it was weird back then, man.
It was
It's come
weird
a
because
long way.
it was almost like you had to have an allegiance to your gym and you couldn't go nowhere else. You know what I'm saying? It was weird.
It was really weird.
It was weird. Yeah. Not because I remember initially like there was like a little sense of guilt like going like and I'm just like
I'm cheating on my
gym. Like and that's like I'm only doing this because I just want to have a workout without an uninterrupted workout. That's all I want. I don't want nothing else. I didn't come here to be friends with people like and I was real kind of like that at first. Like I didn't want to be nobody's friend. I didn't want to exchange and talk to people. I just wanted to put my hoodie on, put my headphones on, and not be bothered.
No, but it went from that to like, man, how do I get this guy in here? How do I get this guy to train here? You know?
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And now look, we're sitting around having a conversation from each other. So it was like, I'm glad both of us were open enough to allow, like our egos or whatever.
I think that you had something very unique to the gym, and I really do. And I hope that in my future locations, Iron Lift becomes like something that part of it. I think that would be awesome. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely a different vibe. When you're here, whenever you walk in, whenever you're hosting your classes, that's something different. If not, it would just be a plain bodybuilding, powerlifting,
Right.
There would be nothing fun about it.
Right. Yeah. Well, thank you, bro.
Because that gets boring, man. Powerlifting and bodybuilding gets boring. That's part of the reason why, I got chunky.
Oh, that's the kind of reason, bro. Like I like what I do in the sense that it's so focused around just health and like your way of going about it because there's so many different ways to do this, man. You know what I mean? And I've done bodybuilding. Like I've done, bodybuilding. Not really powerlifting, but I do like to lift heavy some days, like really crazy heavy. You know what I'm saying? So I love even those things too. But what I think is unfortunate is I do think sometimes that they put you in this box and you have to stay within that box. You have to do these things and you can't do any of these things. You can't do any of these things.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why? Like, why would I ever want to be like that calculated, especially like something like fitness because it's so diverse, man. Like I'll do a bodybuilding show, but I also go take a yoga class. Like, you know what I'm saying? Then I might end up boxing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I might go bike riding one day. Like, it's like I love movement, you know what I'm saying? Movement is a real beautiful thing, and it's like, I love that.
Oh, you never done that?
I haven't skinny dipped. I haven't skinny dipped yet.
No, but yeah, man, everything's been fucking good, man.
Yeah, man.
We're very happy to have you here.
No, I'm thankful to be here, bro. I'm thankful that they just have this, a platform to create another platform, create my platform, to build my platform. I Am Lift has always been, it's never just been training. It's never just been like, wellness or the goal for it in the beginning, and the goal even more so now that I think I have more insight on it is just to be a platform that takes health and doesn't do the same thing that I was just talking about. I want to take health and put it inside this box.
Yeah.
Like I don't want health to be, you have to be 15% body fat and weigh this much, have a BMR of this and all of that. Because I've seen plenty of people that fit inside this box, but I don't know if I would necessarily identify them as healthy. You know what I mean? Because health to me is like the thoughts that you have, it's the relationships that you have, the conversations that you're willing to have. It is obviously whether you're, moving your body, you know what I'm saying? Especially in the world we're in now, man, like we're in a real, I call it a comfort epidemic, you know what I'm saying? We're at a place where the people have allowed themselves to settle for, just things being easy.
Yeah.
And when I say, and I mean that across the board, like we'd rather have easy relationships. We'd rather have easy health. We'd rather have, the less trial, the better, right? And I don't subscribe to that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I believe that trial and struggle has so much power and so much beauty in it. And that's what I want my brand to encourage people to do. Like, take that challenge and take those trials and take those things that challenge you, take them head on. Like, embrace them, love them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Be excited about them. You know what I mean? Because that's the only way you're gonna really grow. That's the only way you're gonna have the body you want. That's the only way I'm gonna have the business that I desire. That's the only way I'm gonna have the relationship that I want. If I'm willing to put myself in a state of discomfort, you know. And that's the best thing about the gym. And that's really, honestly, the reason that I wanted the gym to be my platform, because like, if you can understand coming into this space, you don't come to the gym to be comfortable. There's no, you know what I'm saying? Like, the whole concept of being successful out there is that, all right, you got to go do a lot of uncomfortable stuff over and over and over and over and over again for it to actually amount to anything. You know what I mean? And so I wanted to create a platform that uses the gym kind of more like more as an analogy to life. Like, if you want to be successful in life, and then you want to get stronger, and you want to grow, you want to create certain disciplines, you have to learn, you got to invest, you got to focus, you got to train, and that's what the lift is. It's just this constant cycle of learning, investing, and focusing, and training, and learning, investing, and and then I take that, if I do it in here successfully, and I can do that in my relationships, I can do that with my finances, I can do that in my business, I can do that here. And that's what I want for people, you know what I mean? Because if you want your business to be healthy, you want your relationship to be healthy, you want your body to be healthy, and like all of them, there's not one that's more important than the other, you know what I'm saying? They all really are interdependent on each other. You know what I mean? So it's just like, you may think you have a successful business, but what happens if you had a successful business and you were physically healthy? I can only believe that it's gonna make that business better. You know what I'm saying? Or vice versa. You may have a really successful business, but you know what I'm saying, you're not healthy. I think if you get healthy, again, it raises the ceiling on, like, if we just have this idea that all of it needs the same concept, all of it needs a level of volume and repetition through trial, through struggle, through something that's probably gonna make us uncomfortable to make that thing better.
Yeah.
And so that's what I Am Lift is, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. You're definitely one in a million, bro. And I'm so grateful to have you here, man. Seriously. Before we leave, what is one advice that you would give somebody that's working the 9 to 5 and wants to start their own business?
I think the one piece of advice I would give is really just what I said, in the sense of learn, invest, focus, and train. Like, if you really want to do something, take the time to learn about it. And like, when I say learn, I think a lot of us sometimes get, and I've done this before too, so that's why I can talk about it, because I'm still in this process. But I think we'll take learning and take knowing and memorization as learning, and that's not learning. Like, learning is more something that you don't have to, like, try to remember off the top of your head and snap your fingers like, oh, I think it's this. No, when you know something, like, when you've truly learned something, there's like you don't have to, like, try to recall it. It just kind of is what it is. It flows so effortlessly. And again, that's just something that most of the time takes time. You know what I'm saying? We're in this age where we don't like anything to take any time. You get what I'm saying? But for real mastery, there's a time element that's involved. Now, I do think that if you can, on top of that time element, if you can add a layer of intensity, you get what I'm saying? You can like if you do something for long enough, 9 times out of 10, you'll get good at it just by volume alone, right? But I think that if you can take that same time concept and add a level of intensity to it, like intensity and intentionality about how hard you're doing it, then I think it will help shorten it some. You get what I'm saying? But you gotta accept the fact that it's gonna take time. So I would say learn whatever it is that you want to get to. Like, take the time to start. Like, get off, read about it for an hour, or go practice it for an hour, or go, whatever time you do have. Make the time for it, and then make whatever investments you have to make. You know what I'm saying? Like, whether you got to go buy, if you want to do podcasting, all right, go buy a mic. Go buy a camera. Like start investing in it. Like, it don't have to be the biggest, all of it at once. Go buy a piece of it. You know what I'm saying? And then invest some time. Sit in front of a camera and just start talking. Yeah. Or go to the gym and, like, you don't know what to do. Go do what that guy just did on that machine. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know, look at somebody who looks like they know what they're doing, and then just follow him around and do everything he does. So make the investment. Focus. that's one of the hardest things for us to do in this world now, because with our we pay everything with our attention.
Yeah.
Like, you get what I'm saying? So we're constantly in the people who are here like trying to get us to buy stuff. They know that, so they're constantly soliciting us. Constantly, they figure out these algorithms. They know what you like, when you like it, how you like it. So they're constantly soliciting your attention. So you have to be very like okay with just like, all right, shut off all distractions. Let me focus on whatever the thing is. And then the last piece, which is probably the most important piece, is just repetition, man. Like, repetition is truly the father of learning. And it took me a while to really like kind of understand that concept, because again, we all to a certain degree think that if we do something a few times, then we should be a master at it. I should already be in the I Am Lift facility. You know what I'm saying? I've been there before. I still have to like fight that struggle with myself sometimes. But I was like, hey, there's more volume that you got to put in. There's more reps that need to take place. There's a little bit more learning and a little bit more investing, a little bit more focusing, and a little bit more training that you need to do, because there's more that you want. Because what'll happen is, to that 9 to 5 person, everything that it will take you to get out of the 9 to 5, great. But then there's gonna be another level that you're gonna wanna go to.
Yeah.
And you'll get there, and then there'll be another level that you wanna go to. And then you go there, and there'll be another level that you wanna go to. And the one thing that won't change is that you'll still need to be learning, you'll still need to be investing, you'll still need to be focusing, and you'll still need to be training. You'll still need to be in a constant.
It's a non-ending cycle.
It's a non-ending cycle. But again, the sooner we all learn to embrace it, things come sooner. Manifestations we start almost coincidences and stuff start happening, because I believe that I believe that we're all in these different, we're like, outside of just being humans, we're all frequencies, we're all states. Like, there's a frequency that we all just kind of vibrate at, you know what I'm saying? And I believe that once you allow your mind to change based on the things that the information that you're taking in, the actions that you're taking, then that's how stuff manifests itself. Because it's like, okay, this person is in such a state that only certain things could happen to them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, that would be my advice, man. Just like, do the scary thing, do the uncomfortable thing. You know what I'm saying? Be okay being uncomfortable, because it is, man. And change is very uncomfortable. Our egos want to keep us in a box, because it's trying to protect us. It's trying to say, hey, no, you're good where you at. If you don't do nothing else right now, you got a gym and you got this and you got people coming in. Like, don't change. And the moment we like, no, I want to do something else, our ego takes off, and it's like, oh, this is gonna go wrong, and this is gonna happen, and this is gonna happen. Do it anyway, man. I was talking to one of my clients today, and he was telling me about the concept of stoicism. And I had never even really I've heard the word, but I didn't really know what it was. But basically, in a nutshell, he was just saying, like, if something scares you, if you're worried about something, then write down the worst thing that's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? And then operate from that place, because it's like, once you've already gone and seen, like, well, nobody shows up to my gym ever. I gotta go bankrupt. I gotta go move in my mom. I gotta do whatever. Then it's like, well, you know what? There's a lot of still great things that are happening in my life. Even if the very absolute worst scenario happened, I still got a lot of things that I can be grateful for. And you know what I'm saying? It's like, man, go out and do it. Go out and do it. So, yeah, 9 to 5ers, you got a dream. Life is short, man. We be here today and gone tomorrow. Just go out and do it. Just try it. Rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that, man. Well, thank you, bro. I appreciate that.
Yes,
I think
sir.
we all appreciated those words.
Yeah.
Yeah. Until next time, guys. Thank you.
Peace.